how can you place in perspective what we saw at Augusta with Tiger, Ian?
Well, I think it's the greatest sporting event I've witnessed. I've been accused of recency bias on that on social media, but I just think given what he had gone through, where he was 2 years ago, where he told everyone he was done as a golfer, not as a contender, not as a champion, just period, as a golfer, he was never going to play again. And to win the Masters in that fashion, I'm pretty sure in 33 years of doing this, I've never seen a greater sporting event, and I've seen many of them. The 97 Masters might have been more meaningful, but to witness this, and listen, 97, I was not there for Jack in 86. I was in college, but even Phil in 04, that was really big, but nothing felt like Sunday. It was a surreal day to begin with, of course, Rich, as you know, starting early off both tees,
yep.
And so to see him emerge from that group, and I thought that it wasn't exactly vintage dominant Tiger Woods golf from the heart of his prime. I really thought, and I compared this on Twitter to Michael Jordan as he aged, beating it with his brain and his jump shot. And I just thought Tiger was so patient and smart and poised and experienced, and he waited for Molinari, who's a very tough player, to make a mistake. And, of course, he made that mistake at 12, and then Tiger pounced. And it was, listen, my wife and son are not golf fans, and they were home watching on TV. They couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom. They were so overwhelmed by the scene and riveted, and I don't think any other athlete outside of Michael Jordan could have that kind of impact on people who don't follow the sport like Tiger did that day and last week. It was really something unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ian. I mean, my kids were watching the Masters, the Sunday round of the Masters on DVR last night, and because they're just fascinated. My kids are 10 and 8, and my 5-year-old daughter knows of his name, and we're just wondering why the fascination with him. Why is he of such generational interest? Why is this such an emotional thing for so many of us to be taking in, do you think?
I think now, Rich, it's because of everything that he went through and came back from, and a lot of that was self-imposed, of course, but American sports fans love a comeback. They also love a great figure being humbled and taken down to his or her knees and then rising back up again. It was a Greek tragedy and then a recovery from that, and so I think that was very appealing to sports fans around the country and around the world. And going back to just conquering an unconquerable game. I think anyone who's ever tried to play golf understands it might be the most maddening game in the world. To see someone who can conquer it, I think, also touches a lot of people. But I do believe you have to go back to the elitist and exclusionary nature of golf and country club America, and to see an African-American in his early years come into the game and at a place at Augusta National that, of course, had exclusionary policies to win. I'll never forget the looks on faces of the African-American workers at Augusta National in 97 when he won, and just how meaningful that was. I think that's part of it as well. And so you put all that together, and he's got one of the greatest names you'll ever see in sports.
It's true.
He's a good-looking, charismatic figure, and you have one of the greatest athletes this country has ever produced.
Ian O'Connor, the author of Arnie and Jack, Palmer Nicholas and Golf's Greatest Rivalry, here on the Rich Eisen Show. So do you think he catches Jack? I mean, these things sometimes come in bunches. We're even seeing the baseball player from the Orioles, Chris Davis. He didn't get a hit in 53 straight at-bats, and then all of a sudden they're just coming in bunches. That usually happens in sports. What do you think here?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win at Bethpage, Rich, next month, because I think it's too soon. He put so much into this that at age 43, his body is altered, and he said it's a different body now. For him to recover and win in a few weeks at the PGA Championship on Long Island, I think that's a lot to ask. But I could very easily see him winning at Pebble Beach, where he had his most dominant U.S. Open performance in his prime. And so I would not be surprised at all if he's at 16 at the end of this year. And then he's right on the doorstep. We saw Tom Watson one putt away at age 59 from winning a major. Tiger certainly was better than Tom Watson, great as he was. So he's going to have years where he could just pick off a major at age 51. You can do that in golf. So Yeah, I think 15 was always going to be the most difficult one for him to get to. Now that he's done that, I could see him at 16 at the end of this year, and then he's got a lot of years to just pick off one here or there. So 18 or 19 is very much in play.
And I just love how you said what you said, Ian, that he reminds you of Jordan in his advanced years in the NBA, where he was a different type of player, but he still had that championship quality and the savvy to draw upon a championship performance. And until 16, that shot on 16 where he almost jarred it, when he finally had the lead for the first time, and anybody wondering what's he going to do to try and close this thing out, perhaps he doesn't have that magic to close it out. He didn't have that closer mentality anymore. And then he almost jarred it on 16. That was the old Tiger Woods, not the advanced Tiger Woods. You know what I mean?
Right. I was at the 16th tee box when he hit that shot. And the sound, the noise, as the ball trickled down from the top of that green towards the flagstick was just unlike a sound I've heard before at Augusta National. And I think that it reminded me, well, people who were at the 86 Masters and talked about the sound that Jack made at 16. Of course, when the ball was in the air, his son Jackie, who was caddying for him, said, "Be right." And as Jack was bending over to pick up his tee, he said, "It is."
That's right.
And so I imagine the sound was exactly the same as it was Sunday at 16. And I think it was apropos that Tiger and Jack, who orchestrated and authored the two best Masters ever, made magic at the very same hole, the 16th.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.